Howdy, y'all, and welcome to another edition of Unstoppable with your awesome, lovely host, Victoria Cure, and myself, her simple redneck husband in the background.
My better half.
I'm Michael, y'all.
Howdy, y'all. Oh my God, I'm gonna sound like you. Right? I'm starting to sound more and more like you. Stop it. Can you believe that we've hit the 200 mark of episodes?
It's awesome. I mean, if you technically look at it, it's just us jaw jacking.
Well, so many people love the chemistry of us jaw jacking. And that's not true. We also have amazing guests on. We have our teen talk show. Um, so yeah, we've only been podcasting a little more than a year, and we're still in the top 1%. We've had done over 200 episodes. I've guest appeared on over 100 beside that ish. And it's because we have amazing
So is that an invitation to
followers.
our audience? If y'all want to come on our podcast, reach out to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can we talk a minute about how ignorant people make my head hurt?
Yes.
So everybody who loves and knows Faith has been going through her time of medical crap.
They've been journeying with us, yes.
Right. And I'm so grateful for them. And the other day, we had to go to an adult hospital in preparation for another upcoming stay and a really big day of surgeries, plural.
Also, if y'all didn't catch that, my wife insinuated from children's to adult. Yes, our child is turning
Shut up!
to be official.
Be quiet. Stop talking. The hole under your nose needs to just quiet. So anyway, so we go to do what, if any parent's ever been through this, it's called a barium swallow study. And when your child has medical PTSD or not, it doesn't matter. The point is that a human being is going to be nervous when they have no idea what they're going in for. They don't know what to expect. They don't know the outcome, yada, 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 right? So, and as we know, Faith has a Broviac PICC line in, right? So we wait and wait and wait. Oh yeah, did I mention that we waited?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get taken back, and I've made it clear in the most unbelievably nicest possible professional way that Faith has PTSD medically because of some incompetent morons that didn't do what they were supposed to do and did do what they shouldn't have. So I advise them as nice as possible, that this is what we do. There's certain words we don't say, blah, blah, blah. And we go in there and they like bombard her. And she's a tiny little tot with like a ton of people all around her. And then they tell her, oh, well, mom can't be in the room. She's got to go sit in the back. So as I go in the back, I have a wonderful gentleman who has changed careers, and he is sitting back with me and told me he's about to take his boards, and I wish him nothing but the best of luck because he is an individual that I can tell you right off the cuff is going to be an amazing person to do radiational or radiology. He's doing both, and he cares about the patients. He's very understanding and empathetic, just has that calming demeanor about him. I even told him, I was like, you can tell when somebody's going to be really good about this, and you are, because you have people young and old who come in here with the unknown, right? And now it's Friday, and a lot of people got to wait the weekend, and that is a long 48 hours when it's your health and or your daughter's health or your son's health or your loved one's health, and you don't know what's going on. And I told him, I was like, it's the compassion and respect that you provide that make it a lot more of a easy procedure to endure, because he was just fabulous. This hoo-ha of a woman comes in and tells me, you can't record the videos because of HIPAA. Well, first of all, it's my freaking kid, number one, and there's no other patient around. Number two, then she points out and says, can you read? Because the monitor says, due to HIPAA, no videotaping or photographs are allowed. Well, then I show her on the bottom where it says if any videoing or photographing has transpired, disciplinary actions will take place. And I looked at her and I was like, I'm not an employee here. So what are y'all going to do? Send me to my room? I mean, that's my child. And I was like, the kids' hospital that we've done barium studies at forever lets us record it. And I was like, I just want to be able, she goes, I'm sure you can't even read it. Like, not quite, like, not saying, is there a possibility you would even know what you're looking at? You know, I made it clear to them, this is not our first rodeo. We've done this procedure before. And that her not even having me right there is already going to cause her unnecessary anxiety. Right. So then she's like, I'm sure you can't even read it. Okay. Well, apparently you can prejudge somebody by looking at them and thinking they're just like an incompetent moron, because apparently that's how she saw me. And I just looked at her and she made sure I couldn't even see the imaging. So then they tell Faith, hurry up, drink fast, 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 fast. And then they try to give her a pill to swallow. And I'm like, hello. And I won't say her name. And I was like, if you read her notes that I did for pre-op here for this, even though it's not really an operation or whatever, I said she's a high risk aspiration and she cannot swallow pills. Both of which I guess you didn't review prior to our arrival, because you're not only trying to get her to hurry, swallow, 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 swallow very quickly, you're also trying to get her to swallow a pill, which she can't do. And then she lays her flat and tells her to drink laying down. Any parent, I'm sorry, a special needs mom that's ever had to deal with GERD or any kind of other reflux situation can tell you you never lay somebody flat. And I understand that they're doing this for a study. I get that. But in Faith's defense, she's never laid flat to do a drink. So Faith goes off and is like, I can't lay flat. I'm not allowed to lay flat. I can't lay flat. And I can't have a straw while I'm laying flat because I'm going to choke. She's like, no, you're not. You're going to be fine. Just do it. And she's like, but I can't. I've never been able to lay flat. And she's like, ask my mom. So I just said to her, you know, children with high risks of aspiration or suffer from GERD are brought up at an angle at all times while they're sleeping so they don't aspirate even on bile or other reflux. Well, this is a procedure we're trying to get a reading. And I was still extremely nice. And the guy who was back there who was finishing up for his board said, you're really nice, even though this woman is being the way she's being. And I said, you're going to be great at your job and hopefully she'll be unemployed at hers. And he goes, you're just being as sweet as you can be. And I said, it's just because most people do not expect an advocate and or a voice for the kids. And if I'm trying to help and tell you what works the best, then I think you should take that into consideration.
Obviously, she knew more than you did
Obviously.
because she took one look at you and prejudged that you do not, in fact, have 3 doctorates under your belt.
But why? What do you mean, look at me? Because I'm one-armed and all like disfigured?
Because you're disabled, redhead,
So I'm disfigured.
you're tatted up.
But my tats are not, and this is
Okay.
not disrespecting
All of that.
anybody. Hold on. This is not disrespecting anybody that has like skulls or guns or anything like that. I'm tatted up with mine and Faith's journey of survival that are covering horrific, ugly scars. And the tats are only on my arms. I'm not on my neck. I'm not on my face. I have scars on my neck and my face from my ex, but I don't look like Frankenstein. I mean, yeah, my biological said I look like
Sure.
the Elephant Man and Freddy Krueger had a kid together.
But that's another story.
That's another story for another day.
Our apologies on that note there. Someone gave us a call. We forgot to silence our phone.
Yes.
But you do, in fact, know what the hell you're talking about. As you stated, I have been through this rodeo before, and she should apologize right then. Does that interfere with your confidence in today's medical personnel?
I think our experience in the last 5 week stay
We
did
had some
that.
questionable folks come into our
Then we've
first.
had some of the most amazing. The
have.
nephrologist we had was 5-star, flipping awesome. Like I sent him an email last week, and within 5 minutes he responded, and it was just amazing how professional and sweet he is. He offered to do a letter, whatever I needed. I mean, just a stand-up guy. And I even told him, I'm the person, and you'll you know say you agree with that. I'm the person that if you're doing a hell of a good job, I'm going to compliment. I even did that when we were in the
Bring her
hospital.
cookies.
Right. I will go above and beyond to talk to whoever I can to make sure that acknowledgement is given when it's due about how professional someone is being. And they're doing a great job and they should be recognized for it. In today's world, everybody just wants to complain,
Yeah.
complain, complain. I want to recognize people for doing an outstanding and above quality job. And just ignorance makes my head hurt. I mean, it does. And you're going to prejudge me because what?
Right.
I mean, what, do I look like some,
What?
I don't know, like kindergarten dropout, uneducated?
Redneck?
I would never say that. I mean, like, okay, you look at Helen Keller, would you know that she's one of the most amazing women in US history that created, like, look what she did. She did Braille, you know? And everybody this day knows Helen Keller's name. But are you going to prejudge her because she was blind? I mean, would you look at me and say, "Oh, I bet she can't tie her shoes"? I can tie my shoes one-handed.
She does, y'all. And it's crazy how she does that. But for those medical personnel that we've had contact with, that we've known for years, my wife's known for years, and that are listening, thank y'all. Y'all doing a hell of a job. We're not talking about y'all, and our faith is not dropped in y'all's, in confidence that we have in y'all to, perform your duties.
Well, then you have to go to the next level of, like, we have a nurse, if you want to say that,
Oh, Lord.
that was here, and all of a sudden, Faith is like she comes in here to show me something, and she was fine. And then 30, 45 minutes later, I go out and go downstairs to check on her for a minute, and she's sitting by her nurse. And then literally when I go over there, I find out that she has a rash all over her. And I ask said nurse, "Did you even notice this? Did you see what this is? What has caused this?" Her answer was, "I don't know," and didn't even see it. You're sitting right beside her. And you've been sitting right beside her for, hours. I don't understand. That's why I have such a hard time with, like, trusting. And, when you come to me as a professional, a medical professional, and you try to explain, like, for instance, any kind of, let's say, for instance, their airway. Okay, well, fundoplication, she's had two. Tracheostomy, she had one. She's decannulated. You want to talk about it, and you can see that I have, or the parent has, any kind of knowledge in that area. Don't talk down to them. Talk to them, not at them. It's about respect. At the end of the day, we all put our pants on the exact same way.
Mm-hmm.
Why is today's society where it's like going around and treating everybody as some people are better than the others? I heard, and I couldn't believe it, that now in the northern part of our country, that there is cat litter in the bathrooms for the kids. So those who identify as cats or furries or whatever the category is, they can go to the bathroom in the cat litter, and they even purr and hiss and whatever all that is now in schools. And we wonder what the hell is wrong with our society. Last week when TikTok and what was it? Instagram, TikTok, or Instagram and Facebook, I don't know. Two of the three platforms went down. You would have thought, like, the air stopped being able to be breathed because people flipped their lid about it.
Can I pause for a minute?
Sure.
Thank you. You're awesome, by the way.
Well, I didn't do anything.
You're smoking hot.
Shut up. You're so ridiculous.
You are. You ought to see that fire in your eyes, y'all.
Whatever.
She gets fired up on some subjects. So you mean to tell me our kids can
Yeah,
go to school
right.
and change not gender, but they can change species, drop trowel in a litter box,
Yeah.
and Department of Health is not all over this? Where are they going to scratch off after they
I guess they're using a
drop the
scratching
log or
post.
two?
Did they get a scratching post? Do they feed them catnip at lunch?
Do they wipe their butt or just leave everything hanging?
Maybe they
Just,
let them lick it.
okay, that was gross.
Well, I'm sorry, but if the cat cleans themselves, I don't know what else to say. And what do you check? Like, do you know now when we're filling out forms, it says, do you identify as they, them, him, he, she, her, binary, non-binary, trans, what was the other? There's like 3 or 4 others. And I'm like, I don't even like I try to keep up with it, but there's like every letter of the alphabet. We have friends that are bisexual, we have friends that are gay, we have friends that are homosexual. And you know what? That's fine. But how can you identify as an animal? Like I can't wrap my head around that. I was a serious tomboy growing up, but nobody would have ever looked at me and said, you're a lesbian or you're the butch lesbian because
I'm sorry. Weren't you a second degree black belt?
I was,
You
I
would
am.
kick their ass had they said that.
Well, true, but I mean, actually, I wasn't. I was never a fighter. But the point is that if you were big into, the sports and you were more tomboyish, then you would be considered that today. Like today is, I don't know how the kids today could have made it when we were young. We would go out and play till it was dark. We go to our friend's house. We didn't have cell phones, we didn't have phones when we were in the car. We drank out of a garden hose. We'd have mud pies, we'd slide around in the dirt, play dodgeball. These were all things that we did on a daily basis. And we're fine. Now, in today's time, these kids don't want to go outside. We've seen this firsthand. They want to take a break if they've been outside for 5 minutes. Their reality is virtual at best. Their reality is video games and their online persona on the internet. You can make yourself whomever you want online and live in this faltentious pretense world of this is who I want to be, so I'm going to make myself this. And these kids are doing these things and it's mind blowing. I mean, we're on the internet all the time. We're on all the social medias all the time, but we're doing it to help other people. But if the internet, like if I had to be given the opportunity to not go on all these platforms, I would graciously just give it up because I think, we did so much better as a society and a world prior to all of this crap. I mean, seriously.
So on Netflix, if I can mention Netflix,
Mhm.
that being copyrighted, they have a show called Black Mirror, and within those episodes, there are some that the characters have been implanted since birth with ocular devices that allow them to access internet, record everything, rewind, and things like that. Are we going to get there? Sure, we will. We have the what is it, Apple Vision Pro, which is basically a pair of sunglasses that you can walk around with and have access to the internet and
That's
your
ridiculous.
computer and everything.
That's
So
ridiculous.
we're getting very close. We're getting there. It
It's
is scary,
scary.
right? Because what's to stop those big companies saying, "Hey, we're going to interlink or put an interface within your neural system and allow the internet or computers to help program and enhance and modify you, and then they have control over your body or system functions or whatever." So it's not too far fetched. I know I watch a lot of sci-fi, and I'm out there in my pick of movies. My
You
daughter,
said it, not me.
my
Your daughter.
daughter and I just watched one with a
Boy.
dragon last night, called Damsel. That was very good. the main character 11 from Stranger Things was the heroine.
You sound like you're talking in a different language to me, 'cause I don't know what any of this is.
But I'm confident in that. And I don't judge you because you don't know what I'm talking about because you don't watch sci-fi.
Yeah, but I don't pretend that I do because I have no knowledge of what you're talking about.
And I didn't judge you.
Right. But here's the thing. I have to put mad kudos to Keanu Reeves out there. And he is so welcome on our show anytime. Even if you're not available for that show, I'll take it. Like, it'll be good. He is in this campaign that says people who believe in putting dogs to sleep should be put down.
Ooh.
And the thing is, and he even says, child pedophilia, people believe that they should get second chances. Why should they get a second chance? And then the people who put dogs down don't get a second chance. I mean, what a strong stance to take. And I have such mad respect for that because, you know, we've had somebody on that promotes pedophilia in a way that he doesn't promote it, but he advocates for the pedophiles.
Let's clarify why we had him on.
Well, my understanding, and it's going to be an interesting one. My understanding was the individual who I thought would have an amazing, heroic, inspirational story, survived the most horrific events in his childhood, and then he premeditatingly killed his abuser. He went to jail, and so did his brother. They both were involved in it because they were both being abused to the worst of the worst. Like, all abuse is horrible, but they were sexually assaulted for years. And then he comes out, and now he let us know right off the bat that he doesn't identify with anything other than MAPS. Like, the term is MAPS, which is minor attracted persons. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to anyone who is offended by what I'm about to say. I'm so sorry if I offend you when I say this. If you are a pedophile, and I'm going to say this as just clear as day, the hell, if you're going to get my respect, and I'm going to dignify and call you a MAP, because a minor attracted persons is someone who needs to be locked the hell up and not given an opportunity for redemption. He said, this individual said, that most of them get better while incarcerated.
Oh, bullshit.
Because I'm sorry, but they're in there with their others. They can't even be in Gen Pop. So they're in there with the others, and they're just learning what each of them do. And I even asked this thing, because he's not a human to me in my eyes, like, how could you, as a quote unquote man, be attracted to a little kid? I can't wrap my head around that. There's nothing you can say that can make me rationalize your reality that says to me, it's okay that you think that's sexy. It is not okay that you think that's sexy. You and Dahmer and all of those others should be on one little tiny Alcatraz island together. You know, save our taxpayers' money. And I know that, oh boy, am I going to hear it. And that's fine. But you know what? When it happens to you or your children or a loved one that you know, your mentality will change drastically.
So I happen to be a little bit of an expert in what my wife stated, that those individuals that are convicted of pedophilia are not placed in general population.
But why?
They are placed in isolation by themselves. Okay.
Why?
At the extreme, they will be placed with another pedophile. Okay. Someone convicted of the same crime. Because most of the individuals, now, you know, this may be my prejudgment, but a lot of the inmates in there have children.
Right. And the
And
thing is, with inmates,
they will eat them alive.
they don't care what you do to other men.
Mhm.
If you kill a cop, you're a saint. You're like the king of the hill. But if you mess with a child, it's done. You don't mess with the kids. That's like the one done thing. But what gives them the right to not be in Gen Pop? You're not afraid to go and take away the innocence and childhood of a human being.
They're afraid.
No. Hear what I said.
Yeah.
You are not afraid to take away the innocence
Sure.
and childhood of a human being, of a child.
Right.
But your ass literally is scared to go in general population for the crimes you committed. So you want me to fluff your little pillow for you too and bat your little ass for you? I don't think so. Put their ass in general population with a big neon sign that says, here's the X of the map. X marks the spot right here.
My wife is so sexy, y'all.
I'm serious. Our neighbor just left.
Well, that's fine.
But seriously, tell me why. Why is it that they're supposed to receive special treatment?
They shouldn't. But it would just be a liability on the institution, the state, if they put them over in general population because they know what they're going to do. But you know what? For the 4.5 years I was in jail as a correction officer and I took care of inmates, we had let's just say the Bloods and the Crips
Right.
together in Gen Pop because there's some unwritten code that if you're in jail together, you can get along. It may be different in prison. I wasn't in prison. I didn't work at a prison. I worked at a jail. Jail is usually 30 days or less, sometimes less than a year. Depending on how long your court case goes on. But yeah, if that's the case, if you could house rival gang members together, why not house the pedophiles?
Right. That's what I don't
Yeah.
get. I mean, I don't
Know what they're doing
understand.
now for the transgender.
They're
I,
putting a
I'm
cat litter down.
I'm gonna be a man. I'm gonna be I identify as a woman, but I've got a dingling, and I'm gonna go be placed in the women's housing, and what? Them women are gonna go nuts.
Mhm.
Both pair. Ha ha
Wow.
ha.
But I'm just saying, and I'm doing something now on the side, which I'm going to be vague about, where I get to participate with an amazing group of individuals and listen to these court cases. And like I said, I'm going to be very vague, but you watch these people, and like one of the best feelings I had the other day was when a child got to go back to their family. And what an amazing, remarkable experience that was because the mom did flipping amazing and the circumstances were not what a lot of people would think. And my hat's off to her. 5-star stand-up woman, amazing. But then when you have these people, as I say the term loosely, who, let's be real, the kids don't ask to be born. They don't. And you can't use them as pawns against each other because you're mad at the wife or the girlfriend or the baby mama. You can't take it out on the kids. You can't bring the kids in the middle of it. And you know what? More kids today are going to be spending their adulthood recovering from their childhood. And I say that all the time because these poor kids who have done nothing to deserve this hold themselves to blame, find themselves at fault, because daddy's mad at mommy and mommy got hurt and it spirals down on the kids. And I'm here to tell you, and my husband can say his opinion on it, when it starts and there's abuse by the parental party, whether it's man and man, woman and woman, man and woman, 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 whatever the case may be, if they're hitting each other or one's hitting one, it will not be long before the children end up getting hurt as well. It won't. Pets will also get included in this. And it's not fair. These kids have done nothing wrong and they need to see how amazing they are. They need to be able to recognize that they are not at fault for the parents' mistake. And these kids carry such an ungodly, heavy load that they're either being bullied and it makes it worse because these kids have no safe place. They go to school and they're bullied, they come home and they're bullied. Where is this child or these children's safe place? These kids are having to grow up on their own. And they're growing up on their own and pretending to be someone that they're not on the internet. And then some map, which I refuse, goes in there and says, hey, we could be friends and blah, blah, blah. And then guess what happens? And then what? You could be all Billy badass until you get caught and you end up going to jail. And then what? You're going to, become like the little mouse that could and start squealing all the time. I have such a problem with it. I do. Because a lot of times and a lot of people think like the death penalty should no longer be in existence. The person that we interviewed said we shouldn't have a sex registry because it makes it even more of a challenge for those that have been found guilty of pedophilia or some type of sex crime. And, I'm sorry, I disagree wholeheartedly. I believe that we should have a domestic violence registry. We should. And we don't. And it's not all right. It's absolutely not all right. We have voices and we need to stand up for what's right, help these people who need to be helped, and give these kids a fair and happy chance at life.
I know you're happy on doing your little side thing here, helping the kids out.
I love that. But I do have to say, and I can't believe you haven't brought this up yet, we have released like 6 new books in the last like
Oh, yes, we
2
have.
weeks.
It
One,
wasn't me, it was you. That was
what?
all you.
No, you're on there. One of them, Faith did an amazing thing where if you guys ever want to read a book to your kid, this is it. You go to Amazon and you can either look it up under Faith Cure or you can look under Faith Cure Solomon, and you'll see the plethora of other books. But she wrote one about Faith's journey and how this beautiful little girl ends up with a tummy ache and has to go to the doctor and then has to have some tests done and then ends up having to go into the hospital. And it goes through the motions of how you can conquer fear, believe in yourself, see the power from within. And it is such an uplifting story that helps you realize you're so much stronger than you are. And for parents who have kids who may not have ever had to go and have testing done, this is such a great way to like let them see kind of what to expect. And then on the back half of the book, when the story is finished, there are all types of amazing exercises that can be done, all sorts of different things that can be done to help put them at ease, to literally just help with their anxiety and make them realize that they are superstars. They might just not know it and they need to learn how to figure that out. And this book helps them do it.
It's freaking awesome. I love it.
You're preoccupied.
Anything that y'all put out is awesome. And I sat there and read some of it and helped edit. My wife hates when I edit because I don't know what I'm doing. But it's fun to
Annoy me.
do things together with your significant other. Make time for that significant other. There's a lot of things that we don't seem to have a lot of these days. Time for just you and I.
Well, like, you know, we used to make fun of the fact that I work 21 hours a day, and now I'm like, man, I look forward to getting back to that because it's like go, 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 go nonstop. I mean, next thing I know, I'm looking at the clock and days starting at 4:30. I went to bed at like 1, and then 2 o'clock I'm downstairs, so good hour of sleep, and then I'm going, going, going. And that's kind of, what it is. And that's how things are. We have so much going on, trying to get so much done. We do have 13 left. Is it 13?
We have 13 puppies left, yes.
They are so stinking cute.
They just hit 8 weeks old this past Friday.
Yeah, so now they're ready to go to their forever perfectly perfect home. They are the cutest things you've ever seen. Mom and dad are purebreds and they're here with us. And what a just sweet, sweet little face. To buy a golden retriever in the United States, the average price goes anywhere from 700 on the back end, and that's not purebred. That's just it could be an inbred, it could be all sorts of different things, to 2,200, and that's if they just
35.
Well, I'm saying the 2,200
Right.
is just from a breeder, but then they go up to 35 and even up to 5,000 a piece, depending if you're getting AKC, breeded and titled puppies. And what if you're just joining this for the first time? My husband and I help others that may not be able to do the 5-year wait for their support dog. And we donate so many of these beautiful pups. And my husband and I fund this ourselves. It's not easy. It is definitely not easy. I think a month it cost us about 3,200 a month right now is what it's costing us to pay for this. And what we do is if we find families that do want their forever best friend, we go through and make sure that they are good people, that they are not going to harm the dog, that they're not going to do anything, but love this as their family pet, and then they become a family member. And then we help them get this pet, and we do it at a fraction of the cost. And that money all goes right back into helping us pay for the ability to donate to others. So if you're looking to do something great for others as well as find your forever best friend, this is a 2-for-1 deal if you think about it that way.
And if I may interject, that's something that folks don't look at. When I have a lot of folks call me Victoria, not Victoria, but they call
They
me,
call you Victoria?
and the first thing, hey, I saw your advertisement for puppies. How much are they? That's the first thing they ask. All right. And after I tell them the price, okay, goodbye. All right, that's it. They don't want to know anymore. Okay, so all you're telling me you're a piece of shit, and all you want is to save a buck or two.
Right,
Okay.
but is that the kind of spouse you're gonna want? Because you just want to save a buck or two, or are you gonna get quality? You know what I mean? Are you
No, right. No, what I'm saying is getting a golden retriever is a anywhere between 12 to 18-year investment.
Mhm.
If you would look at it that way, you are getting a family member,
Oh,
a
ask me about
companion,
stucco.
a loyal support and comfort animal.
That's not stucco isn't an
Okay,
animal.
they make horrible guard dogs, y'all. Okay,
But their bark is
they
my
do have
theory.
good deep bark, but horrible guard dogs because they just love on anybody. Their disposition and temperament is awesome. So, for those of y'all who have called me up trying to buy a dog for pennies on the dollar, you know, go to some other place.
But you know what? If you buy a dog, you buy a golden retriever that's cheap, they're gonna have hip problem. They're gonna have all these other issues because they're probably inbred, and that's just not
It's not right.
right. And ours have their own heaters and they have their own air conditioners. My husband laughs at me because they get cooling blankets and they have fun time and they have toys and treats. And I mean, they are so loved. And you could pick one of the 8-week up puppies up right now and they just nestle into your neck and just love on you. And it's the sweetest thing ever. And it's like, how do you have a bad day when you have a puppy? I mean, you just can't because they're just so full of love and happiness. And they just, come all over and around you and just love on you. And that's all they want.
So if y'all are a dog lover, you like dogs but cannot have dogs, you want to support our dog program, go to our website, acontagiousmile.com. Top right is a donation tab. Click it and put in a buck or two, whatever you want, because I promise you it helps.
It definitely helps.
With I think my wife said about 3,200 a month, and I, you spend what? You buy like 10 bags at a time.
Oh yeah, and we
and
go
then I
through them
buy
like
puppy
nothing.
food when we have the puppies here. So I just bought God, we just went through 5 bags of puppy food.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have 3 litters right now. This is the most puppies and dogs that we've had on site. I think we're at 35. So we like to get rid of some puppies, make some folks happy, make these puppies happy.
I love you,
Uh-oh,
right?
I do what I do.
So this is like Women's Month and
It's what?
Women's Month.
Women's Month. I
Uh-huh.
don't have any other woman but you, I swear.
No, I know that.
Okay.
So anyway, I have been asked by many different outlets to speak on behalf of Women's Month. And I know what they want me to speak about. And I've kind of stopped doing the intense interviews about the domestic violence. I can talk about it um as an advocate. I can talk about it as someone who is a survivor. I can talk about it in preparatory work for like the TPOs and restraining orders and all of that. I can help you when it comes to like helping you get out. But I've had a lot of people really want me to go in depth and into extreme detail on what I endured, and I can do that to a point. Um, but and then I tell him
Yeah,
about my book,
yeah, y'all buy the book and read it.
Who Kicked First, and it's my memoir.
Who Kicked First? A memoir.
Right. And I know that my husband's gonna be like, "Are you kidding me?" Because we were talking about this a little bit earlier today. But if anybody was gonna ask me anything, I would want it he's taking a sip of beer 'cause because I would rather it come from you. And obviously there's a need because I've been asked by numerous places. So I'm gonna let you kind of ask me some questions. I'm more comfortable with you asking me specifics because it is still challenging to talk about. It is still hard to talk about. You never get over it. You learn to deal with it. And you learn to cope with it. There's a big
Might I
difference.
suggest we do our next show?
No, you
Uh,
can ask a couple of questions because
No, because we've been all over the page with this show.
yeah, but that's what everybody loves. Because my other one has myself talking with guests, and then we have Faith talking with Logan and other guests, and this is me and you. So this is, don't try to weasel out of it.
I'll ask one question.
You're not getting his name
I don't want his name yet.
yet.
Yes. If I want it, I'll get it.
No, you won't.
Have you met me?
Yeah, I've met you.
So this is the only question. And y'all, I don't know if y'all gonna read this or not, but at any point during all these physical beatings, abuse, stabbings, the threats, the unconscious moments in your life, the hospitalizations, at any point, whether or not you were pregnant, did you think about suicide?
We already talked about this. And the abuse, the physical part of it, only happened while I was pregnant. He testified that he waited until I was pregnant because he knew and testified to the fact that if he ever raised a hand to me when I wasn't pregnant, he knew I would fight back in self-defense. He testified to that. I made a deal with him that as long as he didn't touch my stomach, I wouldn't fight him back because one of the first things you learn in any martial art training is you have to de-escalate the situation. And when you were woken up in the middle of the night with somebody straddling over you, beating you in the face until you wake up to tell you to get your fat ass up and go get me some water because I'm thirsty, you know you can't de-escalate that situation at any moment. You know that you have to find the one chance where you can get out and live to tell. And the average person goes back like 7 times. You've got to be able to know when to go. So to answer your question,
Thank you.
I did, but the thought didn't last for 60 seconds. Um, I was coming in and out of consciousness. And this is a trigger warning for everybody. I always try to do that ahead of time so you know if you need to turn it down or not listen. Um, he choked me out, broke the Hubbard bone in my neck. My eyes were actually bleeding blood. The veins in my eyes, the um, blood vessels in my eyes had ruptured. And after I talk for a long period of time, I get hoarse, which is still there's vocal cord damage. And I after that's done, you have about 60 seconds. And he kept choking me, and I was passing in and out of consciousness. And the only thing that kept waking me back up was the stabbing, the actual feeling of the knife being stabbed into me, like being pushed into me. And that was what woke me up, if you will, from the unconscious state. And I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna die at his hands. And I would pass back out. And I don't remember for however long it was. And then I'd come back to and I thought this couldn't get any worse. This couldn't get any worse. Why don't I just, and the whole thought from stem to stern, top to bottom, start to finish wasn't 60 seconds when I thought I just need to do this and take my life because I can't live my life like this. This isn't living. This isn't living. I'm his prisoner. And he takes out his aggression every day on his battleground, which is my body. And it's not his, it's mine. And after that, I realized, what are you like out of your mind? Because I'm not going to give him that satisfaction, that I will not let him win because that will in turn let him win. And I'm not going to do it. And so I kind of just shook that out. I never attempted it. I didn't try it. I didn't do anything that could be constituted as like attempting to take my life. I thought about it, and then that was the end of it, and that was it.
So this may be a prevalent thought in other survivors
Mm-hmm.
during the time of the physical beatings,
Mm-hmm.
where it just keeps going on and on and on, and perhaps for years
And I
in
say this
some
like a
cases.
broken record, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize. I don't care if it's one hit, one slap, one kick, one punch. It's one too many. It's not a contest between how many punches and kicks you get. It's not a contest. One is one too many. And there is no excuse for that behavior. And that doesn't make him a man, it makes him a monster. It also makes him a coward.
Very much so.
You know, I think one of the strongest, I get asked this question a lot, one of the strongest moments that I had in the very beginning, I saw myself as a broken dove. Like I saw myself as a broken bird when I looked in the mirror that I was unable to fly away. And I was just totally distraught. And my best friend, Kim, who's passed, told me that if you take some glass and you break it and then you look at churches and stuff, the stained glass are the most beautiful pieces of art, and it's all from broken pieces. And one of the strongest things that I was ever told, that I think was my first real stepping piece into my healing journey, was when he told the judge that he was afraid of me. And that was after Faith was born, after the rights were terminated, and we were in court, and it was a sealed court because it had to deal with a juvenile. And he asked him, how many times do you think he hit me? And he said, unfortunately, I can't do anything about it because this isn't criminal court. And he said, if I hit her once, I hit her 200 times. And he said, so let me ask you, if you hit her, what did she do? And he said, well, she'd cry. Or if I stabbed her, she cried. And he said, so then what? I'd hit her again. And, being that I already attempted to press charges on him and had no regard of luck in that because he was active military. And I'm not saying all military is bad by any means. I just got the worst of the orchard of the apples. Uh, that he said, I waited until she was pregnant because I know she'd fight back. And he was like, Your Honor, she is a second-degree black belt, and she taught law enforcement, and she did this and she did that, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. And so I had asked for a permanent restraining order for both myself and Faith, for like permanent, and was granted. And he was told he couldn't be within 50 feet of either one of us. And I said, I want to put on the record that I would never, I'm trying to remember verbatim what I said. I would never go and seek him at his place of employment. I would never go and seek him at his place of residency. I would never go looking for him or wherever he may be. Um, I have no desire for that. I have given enough time in my life, and I'm not giving him any more. I'm going to live my life with my daughter because she was my daughter, never his. And then I said, now, however, Your Honor, I do want the court record to show that if for any reason he comes after me or comes after Faith and he violates the restraining order, I have the right to protect myself and my child. And being that we're both disabled, I will not hit him first, but I will stop the threat. And those were my exact words. And I wanted them on court record. And I said, I will not hit him first. I will stop the threat. And the judge looked at him and said, you just gave her permission to kill you. Because if you violate that restraining order, you're in violation of it. If you put your hands on her, she has the right to defend herself and her daughter. She does have the training. Just like an alcoholic, you got to drink even more to be drunk. You have taught her how to be her own personal fighter. And so he said, I want you to take a minute and really let that sink in and let that be a stepping stone in your healing journey, because what he is saying to you today in court is he's afraid of you. And he said, I wasn't afraid of her when she was pregnant because she wouldn't fight me back. And I think that was such a huge first step into my growth back to myself and coming out of that abusive wife shell where I just lost who I was and became that battered wife. And I really took a good moment to really look at him and let him know that I was no longer afraid of him. And I said that to him to his face. I'm not afraid of you. And I'm not going to come after you because you're not worth it. But if you violate it, I have the right to stop the threat. Now, I did go to the bathroom after the hearing was finished and I threw up everywhere, but I held such composure in the courtroom. He had no idea. You went to court with me against him.
Yeah.
And one of my eighth wonders is wondering what happened in that bathroom with you two, and I will never get to find out, apparently. See, that's that mischievous little laugh. I was looking for like blood and whatever, because he hated you. Oh, he hated you. And the minute he got up to go to the bathroom, I never wanted to have a penis as much at that very moment, because the minute he walked back,
If
you
had a
walked
penis,
out.
I would not be married to you.
You know what I mean? I wanted to have a reason to go in the men's restroom at that very moment, and I couldn't. And I waited and waited and waited.
I identify as
I waited and waited and waited on you to come back in, and I'm looking and I don't see blood and I don't see your knuckles red. I don't see any, and I'm like, what happened? You're like, some things are better.
17 years ago.
Oh, it was 18. It's 18.
Yeah.
And I said, what happened? And you looked at me with the straightest face and you said, there's some things that you're better off not knowing. And I said, yeah, and this isn't one of them. And to this day, I do not know what happened in that bathroom.
And on that note,
oh, come on.
What? Our time is up.
No, it's not.
It's getting dark out. Do
So-
you know where your kids are?
Yeah. Of course I do.
Thank y'all for listening to
Oh,
an
that's not
episode
right.
of A Contagious
That's-
Smile,
Okay.
Unstoppable.
Uh-uh.
We shall continue this next week.
Okay, I'm going to replay this and remind you that you're going to finish this. And you're going to say something like, oh, but I didn't say I
Or
would
get
finish
text from
this
people.
part.
They're up in arms at me.
Yeah, they want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Y'all please visit our website.
Oh, are you kidding me? Don't do that to me.
Contagious Smile. If y'all want to be
I have to hand it to you. Oh, wait, I
a
can't.
guest on our show,
This isn't right.
reach out to my wife or myself. You can email us. There's a contact button on our website.
You're not right.
Bye, y'all.
Oh,
Thank you for listening.
oh, that's just not right. Don't forget to go to Amazon and check out all of the amazing books and workbooks we have out there.
Oh, I'm gonna start listing her books on TikTok Shop also.
Well, don't you
Sure.
think you should answer the question then?
Negative.
That's really not right. That's not nice.
Toodles.
That's really not fair.
Bye, y'all.
Not right. Leave it open.